Welcome to Whyspace.
Hey, y'all.
How's it going?
Listen, it's only been a week since we recorded, and I feel like it's been forever.
It does seem like a long time. Now, we are recording a little late on Tuesday. I'll still try to get this out today. We have lives too. So that's complicated everything.
Yeah.
I'm also really struggling with Google Meet right now, where we're recording because I need to get to the notes, and for some reason it won't let me.
Oh, that's not great.
This is problematic. Please hold. Okay, I'm in.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh man, that was tense. Okay. Oh, alrighty. So this is episode 66, which is crazy. And
opinions.
Yeah, it's a lot of thoughts and opinions. And today will be no different. We are officially in NFL draft week.
I'm so pumped.
I am 2 days away. I just missed it. I've just missed football. Also, I'm real curious to see how a few things play out. So we're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to kick it off with a little entertainment news. Little light this week on entertainment, which could be good and bad. Coachella is over. Just before we could get there.
Listen, do you think that the average person that goes to Coachella, which is obviously not us,
right? We're not
the average person is kind of tired of like the influencers almost taking over. Like, I just imagine if that was an event that I looked forward to in my early 20s, however old these people are, but then like you get there and it's like all the influencers have taken the VIP areas, like because they're there and it makes it a bigger event, like the food is more expensive, the parking is more expensive. Do you think they get tired of that? Or do you think that they think it's cool that these people are there?
No, I don't think
young people aren't as annoyed at life as we are.
Well, I don't know if they think it's cool, but they're everywhere. They're taking over everything.
Everywhere.
We talked about last year with the Met Gala.
I just don't love it.
I don't either.
I saw a few influencers at the Masters, and I sent it to you, and I was like, this cannot become a thing.
I do apologize that I just jumped so abruptly. I dropped a grape. Tried to no, it's gone into the couch. Yeah, I don't know. Influencers. I don't. Again, are we too old? Is that really the problem here?
Well, here's the thing: with influencers, we're too old, and Coachella, we're too old. So it just might be.
Listen, I do have some concerns though that have come out of Coachella.
Yes, we do.
I'm real worried about Justin Bieber. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I have literally thought about him every day.
At first I wanted to be like, it's just the media hyping it up. But like the more that we actually see of him out in the wild, I'm like, no, homie's struggling. And Haley seems completely, I don't want to say unfazed. Listen, maybe she's on like the meds that like antidepressants or something. If she is, I get it. After you have babies, like things go crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe that, like, I don't know. I'm sure she's in protective mode of her husband, but like,
yeah.
At some point, I think I would just be like, you know what? I'm going to take the kid and we're out until you can figure this out.
Yeah, like
very concerning.
Yeah, just obviously a lot of drug use. I mean, all we have like physically seen is marijuana, but dude is like struggling. So the most recent weekend, they went both weekends to Coachella, which feels like a lot of not bathing for me for a whole month. It's like 2 weekends in a row to bathe.
Listen, they're not camping out in their car.
Well, I know. I'm just, in theory, they're around a lot of smelly people.
Yes, agreed.
But this weekend, they had his younger brother, Jackson, with them, who I believe is 15. And at the concert, it's like Haley's standing there. The brother is in front of her. Justin's next to her, smoking a blunt, as you do in public at Coachella. And it's just like completely wasted. I mean, he's swaying everywhere. He's like, the bodyguard's like holding him up. She moves the brother to the other side. Like, hey, you need to get away from him. And I'm like, what an exhausting existence she must have. Now, I am not a Haley Bieber sympathizer. I think she's kind of an internet villain. And she picks on her girl, Selena. So I'm not cool with that. But I do, as a mother, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, if he's going to do that around his brother, what stage is he in around your child?
Right. Well, and also, like, you just think she's a young mom. They're not too far into the marriage thing, too. So there's not a lot of life experience that she has. Whereas, like, us in our 40s are like, listen, girl, cut the ties, because some things just, we just don't put ourselves through that. But I can't imagine. And it sounds like she's maybe not really close to her family anymore either.
Well,
So
I was going to say,
are you just kind of in this bubble that you guys have created and you literally just don't know what to do? And I'm sure they don't know who to trust either.
well, I was going to say, I mean, she does come from the Baldwin line, which let's be honest, not the most stable group themselves.
No.
So, like, she's not accustomed to chaotic.
Yeah.
If that's a word. But I'd have to imagine that she built up this life she was going to have. You know, it's very well documented that she was a big believer, as they say.
Yes.
Growing up, she was very obsessed with Justin, and then they finally date and get married within like a minute. So I have to imagine, though, that she created this like Cinderella existence in her brain.
Yeah.
Like, you marry the boy you've been in love with since like you were hanging his Teen Bop posters on your wall, like the equivalent of us marrying like Andrew Keegan or something, from back in the day.
Man.
And then you see him now, and he looks like a drug addict too, but that's not the point. But then you're like left with what this is. I'm like, God, that's some severe disappointment. I read an article today. Justin used to have that clothing line, Drew.
Yes.
Which I never understood. Who was Drew? I've always wondered. And he's no longer doing it. He recently even put out a statement that it just didn't align with him and his family anymore. And I was like, oh, because we're a family guy, my guy? Yeah.
Right.
But the other co-founder of Drew, who used to be his stylist and longtime friend, who is not friends with him anymore, clearly, has come out now and said he believes that the church home that Judah Smith runs in LA, that Justin and them go to his church, is a cult. And I have speculated that as well.
We've always thought that, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a weird vibe. These celebrity churches always have a weird vibe.
Yep.
But I don't understand the cult vibe with his excessive drug use.
Oh, you got to have something to save, right?
I mean,
he's not super broken. How are they going to come in and fix it?
I mean,
at first, when he was kind of cutting ties with his agent and his managers and all these old friends and stuff, I was like, okay, maybe we're cleaning up and we're realizing stuff. And then I was like, maybe who you're cutting out's not the problem. Maybe they were the ones that were maybe calling you on some of your stuff, holding you accountable, or saying things, even just questioning as friends would. And
well, and yeah, I mean,
they didn't call us. We don't know. But
no. And I mean, for Haley, what's she gonna do? Call Kylie Jenner for some advice?
Right.
That doesn't feel
your circle.
That doesn't feel helpful to me. So anyway, thoughts and prayers for the Biebers. Always wish the best for people, even if I'm not a fan.
Right.
But I just think we're watching a serious train wreck in real life.
And I think the other train wreck that we saw this past weekend, that has just left the station, is Elizabeth Hurley and apparently Billy Ray Cyrus are now an item. And who, you could have given me a million guesses, I would have never put the two of them together.
Yeah, so I said to Aaron this weekend when I saw it, I said, hey, you know Elizabeth Hurley? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, she's dating Billy Ray Cyrus. And he said, did he cut the mullet? I was like, well, I mean, it's grown out. Real long.
First off, where did you guys even connect? What circles are you running in that y'all cross paths? But also, and she saw his stunt and she was like, that's my man. That's the one I want.
I don't know. Listen, I mean, maybe she's a big achy breaky heart fan. I mean, it was a jam back in the day.
It was, but he has proven to be so far from that I just wonder, what are we
doing here? Yeah.
You're a grown woman, a gorgeous woman.
Yeah. Did you see where her offspring came out and was like, what is even happening here? It's
question.
Seriously, we're all wondering the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very messed up world. Also, speaking of messed up train wrecks and entertainment, Kanye at it again.
Is he really? I've missed
I mean,
that.
I don't know that he's ever stopped. But yeah, apparently yesterday he put out some news that he was involved in an incestuous relationship growing up until he was 14 with his cousin, who's
Ew.
now in prison for murdering some people. And so he's got a new song coming out called Cousins about this incestuous relationship.
Does he think that that's content we want?
I don't know. And apparently he also tweeted, or see, here's my problem with calling Twitter X. I can say tweeted. What am I going to say? He X'd? Doesn't make any sense.
No.
But he tweeted today and deleted pretty quickly because I'm sure Kris Jenner was like knocking on his door that Kim allegedly called Bianca to model for Skims. Do we think this is true?
I mean, listen, I'm not putting it past Kim for whoever she's get, because she's gotten some people that I didn't think she would. If Bianca models for her, I think that that tells us that Bianca and Kanye are officially over.
Yeah, I don't know. There is
I don't think that she would have done it if she would have done it while they were still married, Bianca would have already modeled for her.
Well, there is a fake tweet going around, which I did almost fall for. And as I was about to hit send to you, I read the name and I was like, oh, it's missing an I. So it's like Bianca Censor.
Oh.
Again. It was all about like the disappointment in him making that public knowledge about his incestuous relationship. Yeah, I don't even have thoughts and prayers for Kanye anymore. I'm just over it.
I just can't even. I still always just go back to like, as much as we always say we're not huge Kim fans, I feel so bad for her that you chose to have children with this man.
And a lot of them.
Yeah.
And like, I really am I'm not worried about Kanye anymore because I've given up, but I am worried about North.
I mean, the kids are still going to be around them. They're still seeing it. Kim can only protect them from so much. And even she is. Now, obviously, what she says in the media and how she is at home with the kids could be two different people. But even she has said, like, I try to be respectful of Kanye in front of the kids because it's still their dad. And I'm sure she doesn't want them to get older and be like, well, my mom always trash talked my dad and I don't want a relationship with my mom because of it. But man, I don't know that I can do it.
Yeah, apparently today he also went off on X about, he claims he's not seen Saint all year, one of their children, but there's video proof that he was at one of his basketball games. I don't know, it's just dumb. But I'm like, God, can we get a gag order? Like,
right?
Something? I don't know.
It's just crazy.
Listen, we don't have a bullet point here on the Taylor Talk part of the notes, but I do have some news.
Okay, do share.
And I know you're going to roll your eyes, okay?
Okay.
But I mean, this is a legal fact, okay?
Okay.
As of yesterday, April 21st, Taylor refiled for the final time that is allowed by the Constitution for the trademark for Reputation Taylor's version and Debut Taylor's version.
I thought she had already done that.
No, she had one more time that she could do it, and she did it yesterday, which means both names have to be used on proprietary items within the next 6 months, or they could no longer be used by her.
I mean, here's to hoping, but.
So I wanted to let you know, and I didn't want to send it to you in text because I couldn't feel your condemnation via text.
Okay.
But I do feel it here, and we're gonna work through it.
Do you think we're gonna get Red TV this year? In the next 6 months?
Yes, I have always told you we were getting both this year.
I know we talked about it, but I just
and when I say always, I do mean that I do change my mind sometimes.
But we do flip flop on this.
And I did see something today about the year of the snake, the whole Chinese calendar, that it actually ends in February of next year. So there's always that. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm thinking they're both this year. But because I don't know what she could do now.
Yeah. I mean, she's got to release it. Still, I'm shocked we don't have a documentary yet. What are we waiting on? Give us something.
I don't know.
She wants to go off and live her life and travel and be with Travis. I get it. Girl, I get it.
Man.
But leave us with something so that we'll leave you alone.
I don't know. I'm fearful of one thing. I never watched the movie Titanic
Same.
because first of all, I knew the ending.
Right.
And everyone built it up to be like this mega, like the end all be all of movies. And so I just was like, I know if I watch it, I'm going to be really let down.
Okay.
I'm worried. And surely this is a stupid fear, but what if I'm disappointed that I've waited this long and this passionately? And then what if I don't like it?
The documentary?
No, Rep TV.
Oh, well, girl, you know the songs that are on it.
That is a valid point. No, I don't. I don't know the vault tracks.
She's not going to release a vault track that we're like, nope, could have done better. Because even TTPD, we were like, could have done better. And then we listened and we were like, no, that was actually real good.
But we are still on the fence about a few vault tracks from 1989.
That is true. Which is fine.
Still said they were fire. Surely she wouldn't lead us astray.
I just feel like the whole Reputation era, that was Petty Taylor through and through.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine she put out a bad song for that specific to go with that album.
I just like, is it gonna hit different, if you will? The pun was so good. It was very quality.
It was good.
Is it gonna hit different though that we're not in the midst of the turmoil of her personality and all that? Like,
I mean, I feel like she's gonna have to do something big. She can't just drop this because, like, we've died down now from the Eras tour.
Yeah,
and will she release something right when football season starts that coincides with like track? I just don't know.
No, I still think Rep's coming out this summer and debut for her birthday.
Okay.
I don't know.
She could put out the documentary for my birthday this summer. I'd be real happy about that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for sooner, but I guess at this point, it's practically May.
Right?
I don't know what we're waiting
Basically there.
But speaking of Travis, football. Listen, voluntary off-season workouts began yesterday.
Yes.
People began reporting places. Now, just to clarify, because I think there is some confusion, people get really up in a tiz about when certain people don't come to these things.
Yeah.
It's not always a scandal, guys. Not always.
Especially for the older players. They don't need it. And they're doing their own training with their own coaches. They don't need the extras.
This is, however, where the drama can begin.
Absolutely.
This is where it can begin, where people don't show up because they're holding out for contracts. And
contracts is usually the drama that you're getting for off-season workouts.
Yeah. So right now, it seems like the only kind of like thing on the radar is that Brock Purdy did show up for the 49ers camp without his new contract, which again is odd, very odd, because he was adamant he wanted it done quickly.
Yep.
They've been done with football for quite a while in San Francisco and still no deal.
It does shock me that they, especially given the state of our quarterback draw right now, that they wouldn't go ahead and give him a contract. Are you waiting to see if there's some funds available that you're not sure of? But I worry, Brock is like the kid that got his first real job and thinks that like, no, like we get along, everything's fine. I'll still show up and do everything, but hasn't really experienced the business side of a job and realizing that a company is always just going to look out for themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. The weird thing about San Francisco, well, let's be honest, there's multiple things. One of the weird things in their quarterback situation is they have traded their second and third string quarterbacks away.
Yeah.
So they don't even have that going on. I
do hope that they give him a contract that's like, they owe him. He went so many years taking them to the Super Bowl and doing really well for them, and you were paying him basically pennies in California. Yeah.
I mean, he probably only saw like a regular 150 a year or something. But
yeah,
you know, I've seen a lot of hoopla and hysteria that, you know, these commentator talking head people are like, well, he's not a top 10 quarterback. And if he hadn't had McCaffrey or Kittle or even Juszczyk or, you know, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, all these people, he wouldn't have been anything. Well, I mean, you can argue that about any quarterback. Somebody's got to catch the ball.
And let's say that that's true. And so we don't give him a contract. Who are you going to get?
Well, one Aaron Rodgers is from the Bay Area.
That is true. Aaron's still available.
He's from the Bay Area, and he went to Cal. I don't know. I'm just saying.
That would surprise me, especially since there's no rumblings that like he's talking to the 49ers or anything. But
listen, I just feel like the whole football Twitter verse would burn down if all of a sudden the 49ers traded Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
But there have been rumors for quite some time now that there's some kind of deal in the works with the Steelers.
Listen, I need the Steelers to get it figured out. We can't, let's just solidify some things because it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, I just feel like, is it just their MO to have drama because they can't win, so they need a storyline?
This will keep the people coming back.
Yeah. Speaking of football storylines, though, Aaron Rodgers this past week was on the McAfee show.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided to air out some dirty laundry about the details of his meeting with the Jets. At least his take on it. I have seen reports coming out that it's not what really happened. I don't see him just going on the air, putting them on blast and lying.
I don't know that he's lying. I think it's selectively choosing what information he puts out, and it's not given the full context of what happened.
Yeah, so he basically says, which I thought this was funny, he very much wanted to point out that he flew across country because, again, he's been in California, just saying, that he flew across the country on his own dime. Like,
okay.
What are they supposed to, like,
right.
I flew to California on my own dime. Like, what are we doing?
It is what the average American does.
Yeah, so he says that he flew across country on his own dime. 20 seconds into the meeting, they said, hey, we're going a different direction. Conversation started with Coach Aaron Glenn, the new head coach, used to be the Lions defensive coordinator, says, so do you want to play football? And he's like, yeah. And so then he's like, we're going a different direction. Now, is that verbatim what happened? We don't know. We weren't there.
I've never been in those rooms, but I highly doubt that was the conversation.
Yeah, I just don't see it playing that way. But I gotta say, the thought of like how blindsided he appears to have been by this makes me smile. That's the petty side of me. But yeah, I don't know. He's still not signed anywhere. He seems bitter. I don't know.
He seemed bitter, but I did notice like with him going on the show and he was like, well, I'm in a serious relationship now.
I know. And I'm like, we've not seen you with anyone.
Right.
Are they famous?
Well, because he said this person has no social media presence. I'm going to guess a hippy dippy that he met at one of these like retreats.
Oh, yeah. She's probably lives underground full time kind of thing. Yeah. That's right.
But then he mentioned like people close to him that are going through some things. I think he is setting himself up to then be able to say, you know what, I just can't take on a team this year. I need to focus on my like just to soften the blow for him to be like, nobody wanted me. Or maybe nobody wanted me at my evaluation of.
Well, no, he says it's not about money. He said it's not about money. I'd play for 10 million. Oh, I'm sorry.
Of course he might say that, but that doesn't mean that's what your agent's saying in the meetings.
Well, and I'm also like, $10 million is not pennies.
Right.
I mean,
especially for some of these teams that are still paying previous coaches and quarterbacks.
Yeah. And you're 41. So coming off some injuries that are pretty significant. Yeah. You haven't won in a long time. So I don't know. Yeah. I also saw today, speaking of coming off injuries, that the Vikings may be reuniting with Kirk Cousins.
I think you had sent that to me, and I found that real interesting because I thought that parting was maybe not on the best terms.
Same. And they haven't had a leadership change, No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy it.
I'd be very intrigued, I guess, if he went back, just because I don't see that happening.
I don't either. And I also think it's a bad financial investment for anybody. Because first of all, he is old and hurt all the time, but also like he's got a massive contract they'd have to buy out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just am not feeling that, but I could be wrong. We are at the time of recording about 48 hours from the NFL draft.
What are you excited about it because this is one of the few years where you really just don't know how things are going to go. Teams have not been making moves to trade spots, which is unheard of, really, at this point with us being this close. But there's so much back and forth in what we're getting in the media from some of these draft picks that it's like it's anybody's game right now.
Yeah, I saw that the Browns and the Giants are in talks with some teams about trading their second and third picks respectively. I don't know. It would take a massive deal for me to, if I'm either one of those teams, to trade my top picks like that.
Right.
Especially because, I mean, I guess the Giants have a solid quarterback plan now in Russell Wilson. I mean,
yeah,
solid as you're going to get currently. I would take him over any of the draft picks.
Agreed.
If I'm the Browns, though, I'm still unsure about my quarterback situation.
Who do they have right now?
They went and got Kenny Pickett from the Eagles.
That's right.
So, and let's not forget they still have Deshaun Watson.
Which is he officially out for the season, or they haven't officially said?
They haven't officially said, but they have officially said it was a massive swing and a miss to go get him, which has got to be a good feeling because the guy's still in the locker room.
Which is crazy because every single person that's watched football said that when you guys took him.
I mean, the whole thing was just asinine, but okay, so what is your prediction? Will Shedeur Sanders be in the top 5 picks?
Top 5. I think he'll go top 5.
Really?
Well, who's got the top 5 picks? Tennessee's still first.
Tennessee did announce today that they will not be trading the first seat and they will be on the clock. So they will be picking. They won't be trading. Then you got the Browns, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Jaguars.
I think he'll go top 5. I think one of those teams possibly. Well, I would say the Browns, but didn't Dion come out and say that was like a team? Well, maybe he didn't come out, but rumors were he wasn't going to let them go.
Yeah, I mean, it went back and forth. So here's what I think is going to happen. I've got my own theory. I think he's going to fall all the way to number 9, and I think the Saints are going to take him.
Oh, that's a good thought too.
Or
do you think the Saints need to take him and start him?
Oh, they're going to have to.
I mean, you got to start whoever you pick up.
And I don't know that it is what it is, but I've been reading that he might possibly fall all the way to 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which
that would be interesting.
Would be an interesting vibe, but also just like would have to be a gut punch to that man's enormous ego to fall all the way to 21. So then there's the Petty Mandy shows back up.
Right.
Reputation Mandy's version shows up, and I'm like, can this please happen?
I mean, we'd love to see it.
So I don't know.
Who do you think's going to take Travis? Because he's getting real cocky lately about how I'm never going to play football again if you don't let me play both sides. And sit down. You know good and well if an NFL team picks you up, his
dad did get let out of house arrest to make it to the draft in person. So there's that. I'm going that he's going to the Browns.
Okay.
Again, though, somebody's got to throw him the ball. At least on the offensive side.
Listen, if I'm drafting a quarterback, I'm taking Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders.
Well, I talked to my friend Tim, who's a big Steelers fan, and he would rather have Jackson Dart than Shedeur, but he did say he would rather have Shedeur than Jalen Milroe.
Interesting.
And I didn't know how you personally would feel as our resident Alabama expert.
Listen, I think
you're not like a Jalen Milroe fan the way you are a Jalen Hurts fan.
That is true. I like Jalen Milroe. I just don't think he's the best quarterback to come out of Alabama. I think he's an insane athlete. Mm-hmm. And I think that he has a lot of football skills that cannot be coached. It just is in him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they're he needs a strong mentor before he's ready to take on an NFL team. He's not ready to start.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm big on Jackson Dart, but then again, remember I was real big on Ole Miss last season, and they kind of put the bed on me.
Yeah.
But they did put a mollywhopping on Georgia, so
that is true.
I just don't need 4 touchdowns against them. So I don't know. We are way at the back end of the draft as the Chiefs fans, and I don't know. It's kind of all over the board what direction they may go. Everybody's like, oh, they're definitely going offensive line. I feel like that's a little too predictable for Brett Veach. And I also feel like when it comes to linemen, if you're not like a top 5 draft pick lineman, I feel like you could wait till the 2nd and 3rd round and get pretty much the same quality.
I think so.
So I don't know. I've seen some rumblings about some different running backs. They were throwing out some tight end options. I don't know why they would do that when we just got Jared Wiley last year, unless they're already ready to move on from him. But I don't see them having drafted somebody they would be that wrong about.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm leaning that we go defense, that we get some kind of defensive weapon for the first pick. But I mean, a lineman would make sense. It's just, are they really going to be at the, what is it, like 32nd pick?
Yeah,
that's worth the first round. I mean, you basically are in the 2nd round at that point.
Right.
So
you're right there.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Any other notable people that you're anxiously awaiting what happens with them?
Tez Johnson. I'm excited to see where he goes. He plays for Oregon. He's the one that's Bo Nix is, like, his family kind of took him in. I just
think you may be a closet Oregon fan.
You know what? I dogged them for so long, and then last year I just fell in
love with Dan Lanning. It's just
we're wishy-washy. I don't know what to tell you. It depends on my mood, on the day, on the time that you ask me.
Got it.
Just don't know. So do want a good, solid documentary style story on somebody in your organization, I'm gonna fall in love.
Listen, do you want him to go to the Broncos so he can play with Bo?
I would love that.
Yeah, I think that would be really special, and I think could potentially happen.
Yeah.
I did see some rumblings since you and your better half are Missouri fans that the Chiefs could be looking at the wide receiver Luther. Is that his name? The 3rd for our 1st round pick. I
don't know that I love that for the Chiefs.
Don't love it.
No.
Listen, no offense to Mizzou or Luther the 3rd, but
yeah,
I don't see that. Now, again, not 1st round, like maybe 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. This time next week, we're gonna know what has happened, what has transpired.
We'll be real pumped.
All right. Any other NFL news on your end?
I don't think so.
Okay, I have some other sporting news to talk about.
Let's do it.
So since we last recorded, I think the draft happened after we recorded, right?
Yes, it was happening that night.
Yeah, that's right. So WNBA draft happened. Paige Buckers went number 1 as expected to the Wings. How'd you feel about the fashion?
It was notably better this year than last year.
I felt like that too. I felt like, okay. Now however, I don't know if she's got a stylist, but if so, I hope she's not paying much. They just don't know how to dress her boy-like figure.
No. And here's the thing about WNBA players. For some reason, they feel the need to dress in like all label things. Yeah. And it just does not look good on you. You can't wear mini skirts when you're 7'9". It doesn't.
Every single one of them that wears any type of heel cannot walk. They look like a newborn camel coming out of the womb. Like,
just don't do it.
Yeah. Like,
you guys are athletes that look incredible. Do a fun suit and sneaker combo.
Yeah. Like just.
But it did. This year, I notably noticed that their fashion seemed to match them a little bit more. And you didn't see so many like baby deers trying to walk across the red carpet.
Yeah. Now, we did have something that, again, the petty versions of us loved that happened. Sidonia Prince, if you're not familiar with Sidonia Prince, she's a 6'7" center who's played for like 58 schools in the 7 years she's been in college, literally. She didn't get drafted.
She sure didn't.
Because listen, she's got some off the court troubles here.
Yeah.
She's been accused of some sexual like battery, assault kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of DV type issues with ex-girlfriends.
And she said friends, plural. This is not a one-time event.
No, this has been multiple ex-girlfriends that have said this.
I have to say, props to the WNBA for not drafting her, because I tell you about what happened in the NFL.
They'd have taken her anyway.
She'd have gotten $1 billion if it was a boy, And so I appreciate the fact that they said, you know what? We're good.
Yeah, we don't need the drama.
Yeah, I love it. Her teammate from her most recent team, TCU, Haley Van Leith, got drafted. Was she number 7, I think?
Somewhere around there.
Like that. How do you feel about her and her boyfriend, Jalen Suggs? Suggs?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know them.
Oh, you didn't know that was a thing?
No.
He's a professional athlete as well.
Good for her.
He has a really terrible hairline, though. It's a real unfortunate situation. I may be the only one concerned about it, but and then
he's like got like balding spots.
Yeah, it's rough. He is in the NBA, plays for the Magic now. He was like a big mega player for the Thunder back in the day. He was making like $194 million. I say back in the day, he's only 23. But he's been in the NBA for 4 years, so things happen.
Okay.
I am gonna go ahead and tell you though that they look awkward together, but apparently everybody's trying to ship them as the next like it sports couple, and I'm just not feeling it.
Okay. I don't feel like he's got a name that's going to draw the it factor.
No, and she's kind of a polarizing figure in women's basketball too. She's another one that's transferred all over the place.
Yes.
So that's just not a popular thing to have happen. Speaking of transferring and not popular. Now again, I have no idea how to pronounce their names, but what is it, like the Lamavela brothers? Something.
I am Alieva.
God, how did you do that so flawlessly?
I literally, when I was doing notes, was it last week? And I kept practicing that last name.
Say it one more time.
I believe it's pronounced I am Aliava or Alieva.
I am Alieva. Okay, that's impressive. I would never, of course, I wouldn't get that right. But anyway, Nico left Tennessee because he wanted a lot more money than they were willing to pay, and he ended up taking a much smaller deal. And going to UCLA. And then, first of all, I didn't even know he had a brother, A.
Same.
B, the boy was an early signee at Arkansas. How did I miss that?
No idea.
He up and leaves as an early enrollee. He's not even seen the practice facilities yet, and he goes to UCLA.
Listen, we don't know who's giving them advice, but whoever it is, I just don't think that it's good. Maybe he was like, you know what? Nobody knew you had a brother. Now's the time to be like, let's put him in the media. People.
Oh, yeah, I got a brother.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but and here's the thing. Like, I don't wish ill on Nico because he is just a kid. But at some point, you got to be like, Dad, maybe that's not the best advice. I do want to stay at Tennessee. I'm what is he, 20? 21. Yeah. Like, I don't need $4 million right now. I can go to the NFL and make that. And I'm good.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't get it. We know how I feel about the transfer portal. I love it. It's a disaster. And this is exactly more proof as to why this is a disaster.
Yeah.
Like, brother, again, I don't even know if the kid's talented. I didn't even know he existed. But you got this kid, he graduates high school early, enrolls at the University of Arkansas, starts going to school there for 3 months, and then is like, oh, wait, I'm going to go to UCLA. What?
Crazy.
Like, I'm not understanding why anyone thinks this is a good idea.
Well, and also, and maybe they're just not concerned about this. I transferred between a few different colleges.
Mhm.
Not all of your credits transfer, like things
Yeah.
are amiss. Does that come into play at all where they're
No,
like, I got to
no.
retake classes?
No, I don't think anybody cares. But I knew you were going to say something about the educational perspective.
Because I'm concerned about it because in my head, they're all going to play until they graduate. Because in Alabama, a lot of those players do. Like your quarterback.
Because they make more money at Alabama than
That
they
is
do.
true. That is
So,
true. But I just assume they're going to graduate. So then I'm like, you're just setting yourself up for having to stay longer because now we got to do extra. But that might not be a concern. They might just need to get like enough video footage out and then they'll just go to the draft.
yeah, I don't think they care. Aaron has always said he's always had beef with the fact that when a professional athlete signs their Mega Millions contract, he has said that they always thank their mom. And he's like, I just don't understand why they never thank the dad. It's never about the dad. I'm going to tell you why it's not about the dad. People like the Llama Lava Kids dad. It's always the dad with the bad advice. Caleb Williams' dad, John Morant's dad, Nico's dad.
Because I think these dads just keep pushing it and they make it not fun. Whereas the mom is there probably being more supportive, not in every case.
No, yeah.
But I think that the mom's always there showing up, telling them how great they did, even if they sucked. And you've got the dad as just being a little bit more of a harsher critic.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that person. Thanks for always yelling at me.
Yeah, I think too, a lot of times when you have same sex, dad and a son,
yeah,
the dad is living vicariously through the son. Because I'll say that you never really, now Deion's kind of a different beast, but you never really see former players acting this way with their sons.
That is true. In fact, you see a lot of the former players when they do talk about their kids playing college ball, that they're real hands off. You come to me, you want the advice because they understand.
Yeah. So I don't know. Speaking of, actually, there's a kid, the tight end from LSU, Mason Taylor. His dad, he's in the draft this year, and his dad was Jason Taylor.
Yes.
Big NFL star. And then I didn't know this, but his uncle is Zach Thomas. He was also a big NFL star. So I'm like, well, the pedigree is strong with this one.
Seriously.
If we're going to get a tight end in Kansas City, let's go get him.
Uh-huh.
One other football note. Can we talk about the fact that at the spring game at Colorado this past weekend, they retired Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders' numbers?
Okay, but why?
Listen, I don't know. It's the strangest thing.
A 13-12 overall record, 0-1 bowl record.
Yeah.
1-8 versus top 25 teams.
Yeah.
What did you do? I think you and I had seen a list of all of these great NFL players that did not have their college numbers retired.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, well maybe they retired them because they helped put Colorado on the map. They got them some media attention. But and I think Deion came out and said, you should give flowers to people while they're still around. Let them see it. Yeah, but what flowers are you giving them?
If you'd won the national championship,
sure.
Yeah, something. And I could even almost say I could see you doing it with Travis Hunter. Because the Heisman and all that. I could maybe say
I could do that.
See that. But Shedeur? I don't see that at all.
I don't get it. I don't understand what you contributed.
But I am
should get retired. It's got to be Deion.
I am loving the memes though of the new quarterback for Colorado who hasn't played any yet. They're like, "Yep, retiring his jersey, first quarter of the spring game." Yep, love it.
Oh shoot.
In other sporting news, Justin Thomas won the RBC Heritage.
Was that not the best thing ever to see? I loved it.
With his new little baby and his wife.
Golf has spoiled us with having the Masters going to the playoff. And then RBC went into a playoff. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Super happy for Justin and his cute little family. It's good to see him settle down. I feel like he was kind of the last one of those golf bros that, got married. He's had the baby now.
Yep.
Have you seen all the hoopla that people are trying to create around Rory and his wife?
Yes.
It's annoying. Y'all stop speculating. You don't know what's going on.
Listen, even before they had filed for divorce, she was hardly ever, she does not like being on the camera. Poppy, their daughter, is very shy, so you don't see her a lot either. So I don't think it's fair that after the Masters, you're like, well, she's not there. And listen, get over it, folks.
Yeah.
There's just not drama there to be had. And I think because Rory doesn't talk about it very much, maybe the media is like, if we say enough things, he'll come out and make a statement. And that's not how he works.
Not how the Irish work.
No, they don't care. Americans.
Yeah. I didn't like those headlines though. I just feel like it took away from his win too. I'm like,
I hated that.
Yeah, let him be a champion.
Yeah.
Any other sporting news on your end?
I don't think so.
All right. Would you like to answer some listener questions?
I would love to.
All right. I think we've had a question similar to this, but we've been a little light on the Taylor news lately.
Yes.
So this is from Joe. What 3 songs would you want TS to spill the tea on to you in secrecy? Of course, clearly.
So I did Robin just because that was a weird one to me. I just need some explanation. Florida.
That's always plagued you.
Always. And then the other one is Look What You Made Me Do. Because here's the thing. Here's the tea that I want her to spill. Okay. I want to know everything that was going on behind the scenes during this era.
Yeah.
I want to know, when you wrote this, where were you? Which piece of that part of your life had just happened that you were like, I'm writing this song right now? Did you write it at home? Was it one of those where you woke up in the middle of the night and these lyrics had come to you? Did you write it when you were in studio with somebody else? Like, I want to know all the things. What was Tree saying in the media during this period? Like, I need to know all the details of this. That's what I want.
I hadn't thought about that one because I just kind of always lump it into the whole Kanye saga.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Okay, so I went maroon. Like, we need to know. Like, what are we talking about here? I think it would really solve a lot of issues in the world if we could just know. I think
bring about some world peace.
I think, the Pope is dead now. We really need something. Like,
give us something to look forward to.
The conclave to begin now. It's a big deal. So
I just learned so much about Catholicism
man, let me tell you.
All this. I did not know this.
So fascinating. I could go down we could have a whole podcast on that.
Pomp and circumstance. You would have thought I'd have been all over it, but I had
it really does feel like in your lane. I remember in college when whichever Pope that was, we like huddled around our TV for like a week waiting for the poof of smoke. Like,
I know. I was learning about the white smoke versus the black
smoke. Yep. Fascinating. Papas. Yep. Yeah. It is not a Harry Potter spell.
Sorry. Go back to Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, so maroon. I just think that I think we deserve that. As listeners. I need to know about dress.
Okay. That was honorable mention for me.
So first of all, I need to know who it was for. I need to know who you bought the dress for. But I need to know which dress it was.
Yes.
Because I've seen a picture of the dress that they claim it is, and it's kind of a black lacy number with a red underlay.
Yeah.
I mean, seems like it could be, but I just need to know.
Right.
And then my final one is I Can See You.
Oh, okay.
I need to know who it was about because the timing is a little weird and suspect.
Right.
And it's a very sexually charged song you were pretty young when you had to have written it. I mean, in layman's terms.
It's one of those, like, we need to know who it was, but also, like, I need to know the entire context of what was happening to what, like, why did you buy the dress? What is going on here?
Well, I mean, she told us why she bought the dress, just to take it off.
I understand, but, like, you know what I mean? I need further details.
Well, and I got to know, like, if you did purposely buy a dress just to remove it, I do need to know how much you spent.
Yes.
Because that seems like a fiscally irresponsible decision. Just
to be fair, all of her things are superbly expensive, so it is.
Yeah, I do love when that T.S. Swift style, whatever her name is, Sarah, whomever she is, that always like posts. And I'm like, oh yeah, that. Now I will say it's rare that I do think something is cute that can be cute for me. Right. And so I go look and I'm like, oh, that plastic hair tie is $7 million. Got it. Check. Yeah.
Some of those jewelry. And I think I'm one of those, like, I have like 4 or 5 jewelry pieces that I wear all the time. Like those are just what I put on.
Yeah.
So having pieces that are like a couple $100,000 that you wear once, like is it heirloom pieces? Is that how you're justifying it? Like, I want to know what could she go into the store and see a price tag and be like, oh, that's too much. Maybe I'll save for that.
Yeah. Because let me tell you something
Doesn't exist.
Tell you something I don't do. I don't go into a store and buy a piece of clothing thinking, oh, I just need this to take it off. Nope. I don't. Doesn't happen.
If I'm shopping for something like that, I'm specifically looking for like undergarment type things. I'm not looking for a dress for an evening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But
Taylor, you do you.
Yeah, you let us know whenever you want to have this conversation in secrecy, and we're ready.
Right. We won't tell a soul. Literally,
I mean,
I was about to say, if we're going to tell anybody, it's each other. So just put us in the same room.
Same room. We get 6 songs at that point. Feels right.
Yeah.
Okay. From Alec, who are your second-tier teams in the NFL? Chiefs, Eagles, Bills. They are all first tier. And honestly, let's include the Bengals and Ravens in first tier. Again, we do appreciate the clarification.
I do. And I thought that was really good for first tier. Those are perfect.
I think it was fair. I don't know that I
the Ravens.
I was gonna say I don't know that I concur on the Ravens, but okay. I don't even know that I concur on the Bengals.
It depends on which game we're talking about.
Well, and are we talking offense or defense or total team?
Yeah. I feel like they should be first tier, but maybe they haven't proven themselves.
Yeah. Speaking of, still no contract for Trey Hendrickson.
None. I don't think he's getting one.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he's getting it.
Yeah. All right. Who's your second tier teams?
All right. Second tier, I went Lions, LA Rams, Buccaneers, and Steelers. I don't know why they felt Rams. I feel like they have some real spark. Listen, if Bengals and Ravens can be first tier.
Okay. So you answered this based on talent, not your preference.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was
I went second tier based on like who's always in the conversation that like legitimately has a shot, but just doesn't quite make it there.
Okay. Tell me your list again. Lions,
Rams, Buccaneers, and Steelers.
Steelers is a stretch, I think.
Listen, they're always in the regular season. They always have a winning record. I feel like they've got it. They just can't pull through.
Yeah. Finish, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could agree for sure on the Rams if we're talking talent. We just don't like the Staffords, and so I was confused. I debated on the Dolphins because there's always hype, but then it doesn't follow through.
Yeah, no.
I thought for sure, though, I'll be honest, that you were going to go with the Dolphins because I was thinking personal preference, and I thought you would go with Tua.
Yeah, no. Actually, when I was looking at the teams, I thought Dolphins wouldn't even be third tier, I don't think.
I went Texans.
I almost put them
because I again kind of like my Ole Miss fandom. I was pulling for the Texans last season.
Yep.
And then I was thinking the Vikings.
But they stay in the conversation.
But
they're that team that always does much better than we realize they're doing.
Well. And I think now we've got so many question marks at quarterback. I don't really know what happens. We have to just see how it plays out. But yeah, great question, Alec. Thank you for
I liked it.
Guidelines. Okay, I found this one difficult. This is from Toby. Start bench cut. All right, so quarterbacks. He's got Justin Herbert, Geno Smith, and Kyler Murray.
Yes. Okay. Do we want to do like quarterback, then wide receiver, then running back?
Yeah.
Okay. So quarterback, I'm going to start Justin Herbert. I'm going to bench Kyler Murray, and I'm going to cut Geno Smith. With Geno, I'm never quite sure. Honestly, with Kyler, I'm never quite sure.
Okay, yeah.
But he's spry, so I'm like, well, we'll bench him.
Yeah. I always have all the utmost confidence in Justin Herbert for fantasy football. It always pays off.
Yes.
To win the game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start him.
Okay.
I was going to bench Kyler just because he's so short. It bothers me. Just bothers me. And so I was going to bench Geno.
Sorry about your genetics, buddy.
You could have been a running back is all I'm saying. Okay. All right, wide receiver, Devonta Adams, AJ Brown, or Rashee Rice.
Okay, so I'm starting AJ Brown. I'm going to bench Rashee Rice, and I'm for sure cutting Devonta Adams.
That's actually the same as what I put. I mean, I was torn between AJ and Rashee, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Running backs, James Cook, James Conner, and A-Chain.
I'm going to start James Cook because I was super impressed with him last season. I'm going to bench James Conner and cut A-Chain.
Same. You know who was not as impressed with James Cook last season, apparently, is the Buffalo Bills, his employer.
Right.
Because they didn't want to pay him.
They did not. But to be fair, they don't always make the wisest of choices. So,
yeah. You know, James Conner is another one that everyone thought was going to be like this, you know, a Saquon Barkley type guy. And he had a season where he was, and then he got hurt, and he's never really come back.
Yeah.
Okay, from CJ, recast Designing Women. First of all, did you watch Designing Women?
I loved Designing Women.
Same. Okay, good. I figured you did because it fits in the whole Golden Girls vibe.
Yes.
So, who do you have?
Okay, so I'll just run through all the characters that Suzanne Sugarbaker, who was played by Delta Burke in Designing Women, the self-centered kind of former beauty queen. I went Joanna Garcia Swisher. She was Cheyenne and Reba. I feel like she would play this character really well.
I'll go with you here. So I went Kate Hudson.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. She could play that character. Then for Julia Sugarbaker, who is played by Dixie Carter, who's like the more sophisticated, outspoken one, I went Angela Bassett. She
I can see that.
Always gives me sophistication, but I can see her like calling you on the spot.
I could see that. I went Sandra Bullock.
That'd be a good one too. I just can't see Sandra being harsh though. Do you know what I mean? Like some of Julia Sugarbaker's comments like cut real quick. And I think that, well, I don't know. She could play that. Listen, we can throw this recasting out because I think they should do this.
Yeah. So the reason, what I was thinking about with Sandra Bullock is how snarky she is.
That is true.
I felt like that was
good at it. Yeah.
All right, who do you have next?
Then I did Mary Jo Shively, who was played by Annie Potts. She's the sarcastic but really nice single mom character. I think Mary Steenburgen could play her.
Uh-huh. Well, it would be fitting for Mary to play her, as Designing Women house is in Little Rock, Arkansas, where Mary is from.
That's right.
It's one of my best friends. That's a good pick. Now your cast is a little old here.
Yeah, because I always thought those characters were older.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, they were old.
I mean, it's a valid point. It's a valid point.
So I was thinking older characters.
Yeah. I went I went Julia Roberts on this one.
Okay. She was one that I had put down for this as well, and I debated between the two.
Yeah. I felt good about that.
Yeah. And then Charlene Frazier, which is played by Jean Smart. She was like naive, sweet, ditzy one. Leanne Morgan, which
that would be funny.
She could probably play any of those characters, and I'd watch.
Yeah, I do like that. I just lost the name of my person. I went Margot Robbie. I don't know why.
Okay.
Because I was kind of like thinking her Barbie character and just adding a little more like innocence to it. Yeah.
I could see that.
Now tell me, who was your favorite character on Designing Women, the real show?
Julia Sugarbaker. Dixie Spears. She was my favorite.
Yeah, same. I love that so much.
Did you cast Anthony Bouvier's character?
Yes, I did.
I went Terry Crews.
Oh, I like that.
I think he could be good. I'm interested to see who you cast.
I don't think you're gonna like it because I don't feel good about it. I went Damon Wayans.
Okay, but he could actually pull it off.
And I'm not sure I actually mean Damon. I just know I mean one of the Wayans brothers. I don't really know which one. It may
just really matter.
Yeah.
Any of them. You could plug any of them in there.
Yeah, it may not really matter. But yeah.
No, I like that. I think we did really
Cruz is a good one too, though. Did you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Same. And his character on there, that
yes.
like translate. So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like that. That was a great recasting one. We did much better with that than White Lotus.
We really did. Listen, give us
White
Lotus. And then
we've seen it, you know. All right. Are you ready for some WhyFactor?
Let's do some WhyFactor.
All right. What are you not liking?
So what I'm not liking, I really got annoyed with influencers at events this week, just in general.
Okay.
I was kind of over it. I don't know. I think
you're going to be watching. So.
Right. Listen, I'm sure Alex Earl is listening to this.
I
just
you can rest assured, Alex, I'm always annoyed with you. So
I think I'm just tired of seeing them at like normal events. I don't know. It could have just been the mood I was in. But that and then football off season just feels like it's an entire lifetime. And I'm kind of over that as well. I don't need it to be this long. The players, I'm sure they need it to be this long, and I get it. But I need something. I love watching Pat McAfee, and I cannot watch it in the off season when you're talking about like wrestling and hockey. I just can't get into it. I can't do it. So I need football back.
Yeah, I'm real over WrestleMania. Listen, I've not even watched a second of it. I'm just annoyed with the pictures.
Right? I'm annoyed as soon as I see a headline that says WrestleMania. Like, I'm shocked people watch it.
I don't even get it. This is going to be kind of a weird one for me.
Okay.
Very strange noise coming from the hall. The nicknames of fans. Now listen.
Okay.
I know that we are technically Swifties too. Okay. So I can own that. Do I refer to myself as a Swiftie? No, I don't. I've always said that I don't call myself a Swiftie. Just as a fan. I was not familiar with the fact that apparently if you're a Miley Cyrus fan, they call you Smileys.
Oh.
And did you know if you're an Ariana Grande fan, they call you an Arianator?
What? Where did
I don't even know how to say it. And I mean, Beliebers is another one. I don't mind it as much, but
I don't know.
Okay, the worst of them all, if you're a Billie Eilish fan, they call you eyelashes.
Oh, no.
No, thank you. First of all, I can't be a fan. But second of all,
who do you think has the best name out of all of them?
I mean, it's got to be Swifties. It's the most normal.
I think Beehive's pretty, that's not as cringy.
Well, yeah, that one's not as cringy to me at all. You're right. So those two are, I'm fine with
I can do those two. You're right. But the others, no.
Like,
we got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
Agreed.
Well, what are you liking?
So what I am liking, again, we talk about being in our documentary era. I did not realize that this past weekend, it was the 30th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yep.
So I was 9 when that happened.
Yep.
So like, I remember it being on the news. I remember my parents talking about it. And like, of course, you know, everybody remembers the guy at McVeigh that did it.
I lived when it happened.
We would have been in Texas at that time. Yeah.
We lived in Fayetteville when it happened. And I remember being in 6th grade, Mrs. Burridge's class at Shiloh Christian, and we felt it.
Wow.
Yeah. Oklahoma City is about 3.5 hours from Fayetteville.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You know, they randomly have a lot of earthquakes in Oklahoma because of the fault lines.
Yes.
You can always feel them in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
I remember.
I remember watching a little bit more because almost all of my mom's side of the family lives in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know the details about any of it. And so on Hulu, there's a documentary. It's called Oklahoma City Bombing, One Day in America. It's 3 episodes, real fast watch. They did really good at really just hitting the main points.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Clinton is interviewed in this because he was president during that time. They interviewed some of the survivors, some of the first responders, some of the moms that lost their kids in the daycare. It was so well done, but it was just so interesting because there were so many of the aspects of that I didn't know about. and like how they caught him and all of those things. So if you're in a documentary era and you want to watch a good one, highly recommend that one on Hulu.
I actually watched it this weekend too. It was really good. Have you ever been to the memorial for that?
No.
It's very, very moving. And I'm not a big, I don't really get, this makes me sound kind of heartless, but I don't really get impacted or moved by things like that. That one and the World Trade Center stuff, the 9/11 in New York, definitely get to me, especially that one, because they have it's kind of like it's like a memorial fountain thing that's like long, kind of like a reflective pool, that's the word. And they have chairs that line both sides, one for every person that died, and it has a light that comes up from the bottom, and I would see it at night. So they have normal size chairs for the adults, and then they have little kids chairs for the little kids.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's
too much. It's too much. Yep. But yeah, it is really good. I saw it this weekend.
What do you love?
Got a new show for you.
Okay.
We are only one episode in, and I'm already convinced it's good. My friend Tim, that's my coworker, he told me about it. He's on episode, I think, 5, and he said the 4th one is still impacting him. So I can't wait to get there. Called Paradise.
Okay. It's got Sterling K. Brown in it, doesn't it?
Sterling K. Brown. Yep. He's a Secret Service agent, and the president is now the former president, I think. I'm only in episode 1. That's what seems to be happening. Mm-hmm. Is James Marsden, who at first I was like, I don't know that he's real good.
Yep.
He's really good in this role. The writing is really good. The acting is really good. Sterling, at least so far in episode 1, he's so good. He is so talented.
So good.
So I can't wait to get into some more. And I'm really trying so hard not to Google what happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm real bad.
When it first came out, I don't remember if it was on TikTok or Instagram, but his wife, Sterling K. Brown's wife in real life, was watching it. And she was recording herself watching some of the scenes with him sitting in there. And she was like, why would you do that? What's about to happen? What did she do? And I was like, that is so fun.
So Aaron and I we watched the first episode, and he does this thing when we watch movies or TV shows, knowing clearly neither one of us have ever seen it. He'll say, why do you think that happened? What do you think's about to happen? What's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm watching it for the first time too. It's not like some movie I've seen 20 times.
I'll sit there and Google. I need to know what happened.
So he said, well, you always Google the premise before you get us watching something. I'm like, I know, but I tried not to this one time. Don't make it harder. I still have it. And we started this last Thursday.
Okay. I might have to. Doug and I were just talking about how we were kind of out of content for what shows to watch. Yeah. We might have to start that one if he hadn't already seen it.
Yeah, it's real good. At least episode 1. And I've got confirmation that the next few are good. So
okay. Well,
yeah, I love it. From you?
I don't think so. Ready for the draft. Cannot get her.
Next week we'll be back. We'll recap the draft. Anything else that happens? Maybe we'll have Rep TV. Who knows?
Who knows, folks?
Who knows? All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Bye, y'all.